Hi, this is Greg Pogue from the IC Squared Institute, coming to you from Rockport, Texas, to discuss with you the Regional Recovery Program and the role the student programs of Home to Texas and Regional Recovery internships will play in our larger strategy. Give me a minute to share my screen to be able to discuss how we're going to be working together with you as students to build the future of Texas communities. The first piece I want to really help you see is how this integrates together. We have three activities that we are going to be promoting. The first is community asset mapping. This is the project that students will be deeply involved in. The data from community asset maps will be linked into Regional Accelerate. Regional Accelerate is a program for community acceleration based on best practices and startups, so they can think quickly and develop and deploy strategies. And then we're going to engage students again to solve key challenges through hackathon strategies with community leaderships in the fall of this year. It's exciting to know that we're going to be all around the state of Texas, not only with Home to Texas, but our regional recovery internships and our research projects. Look at all the places we're going to be distributed around our great state, as well as 3 places within the communities around Louisiana. How does this work? Our goal is really to provide a framework for communities to grow, not just a regional playbook, because of the diversity of communities and the challenges they face. We want them to understand how to use a tool called the Regional Community Canvas to develop a data-driven strategy to select best practices to put into practice. And these practices we call plays. These allow communities in a network to test what is working, to measure outcomes and iterate those plays that they really create the outcomes for economic development communities want to see. When we put these all together through our Regional Accelerate network, we can build an actual functional playbook, not built by people who are just thinking, but built by people who are thinking and doing, acting in the community. So how does this really work? For communities to grow, they have to understand they're not an island, that there are issues inside the community they need to know today, and there are goals that they have to be ready for in the future if they're going to grow. But there are also trends, economics, and other macro factors that influence the community's future. There's a lot of details about this that can be viewed. There's ideas of how the assets and trends within the community fit across key community assets listed here. There's also the community's strengths, its weaknesses, the threats it's facing right now, and opportunities that it can acquire. And finally, there's the collective community values, vision, and culture. Each community has to grow by growing young talent, producing innovative businesses, building place-based opportunities, recruiting in companies, providing healthcare, educating its population, enhancing quality of life, providing arts, beverage, entertainment, and other factors. But to do that, it has to deal with key trends that may be found around technology, society and culture, public policy, and other socioeconomic factors. And as we've seen recently, global markets, what it means to work, capital availability, even pandemics, and other types of economic slowdowns and trends dramatically influence not just urban centers, but smaller communities. We've linked these together in what we call the Community Resilience Canvas, where the attitudes, values, people, and opportunities of a community are linked together to produce a value proposition for a project that they can then plan from a goal to strategy to communication and determine the cost and benefits to whether they're going to drive that project. This all links together, as I mentioned, with the motion of what's happening inside the city to really define what the opportunity is. This promotes a goal that then can be planned thoroughly through regional communication from start to finish. That value proposition and the cost benefit analysis will determine whether someone's going to do the project or not. So how does your work link in? Well, as we mentioned, this context around the community and around this particular canvas involves an understanding of the community today. That's where your data as regional recovery students and Home to Texas teams will come in. Communities can take this data and learn to now dedicate it in our accelerator program to develop a data-driven opportunity and value proposition for a project that they can develop a goal, a strategy, and a launching approach. We then will help community leadership measure costs and benefits to decide whether they're going to do the project or not, whether it will produce the benefits needed for the future's community growth. And they can then really balance whether the flow of cost to benefit really stays up at the cost side or whether it flows rapidly down in the benefit side. By using these measurements, they can test, measure, and iterate and expand based on these opportunities. By linking these things together, your data will play a critical role in how communities will develop their plans for the future. So we are excited that this is an opportunity for you to be involved in the future of Texas. I hope this is helpful for you to grow in your future and know why you're involved in the Regional Recovery Program. So from Rockport, Texas, thank you for your attention, and we look forward to collaborating with you this summer.